drainage lake. And near as I can tell, from a perpendicular line, I went to the lake and I threw it approximately 40 to 50 degree angle back toward the lake, It's in that quadrant. I didn't hear a splash.
So, what would that tell you?
It's midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. It'll still be there. Nobody walks, you can't walk down there.
So you didn't hit the water?
I didn't hear a splash.
Okay.
I don't want to mislead. I did not hear a splash.
Okay, all right. But was there a chance that it didn't hit the water?
My best estimate, it did not hit the water.
All right.
The water was low.
Okay. Let me ask you this. The knife, where did that come from?
Came out of a cigar box.
Any particular one? I mean,
Gurkha.
it was part of the
Yes.
deal. Did you purchase?
In the process of purchasing it, a friend of mine had it, smoking buddy. He purchased it from the Heroes and Legacies at 82nd and Quaker. After he bought it, chose he had spent too much on cigars that month. Gave it to me. I had $70 or $80 with me, not having any money. And I said, well, I'll probably get it to you in a couple of weeks. After I got paid, after I got my unemployment, whatever it was. He was, don't worry about it. And I never had a chance to pay.
Was there any ammunition left?
Yes. No, in the gun. In the holder, yes.
Okay. And what happened to that?
I discarded it.
Can you tell me how?
Threw it out the window on the highway. I believe it was on I-40 between Sonsi and Hope Road. It may have been further than Hope and Arnott Road. It was in the gutter, I believe, on the right side between westbound traffic and the access road. I believe that's where I discarded that.
What do you recall being the next time that you met with anyone to discuss about what had happened with Dr. Sonia?
Wednesday, the day after, talked to Mike on the phone. He called me and said that he had been checking online and said that the body had been discovered in the afternoon. He called me to see if I wanted. I was already on my way to Butler's to have my use of alcohol. And he said, let's go have lunch. Let's go have dinner. Let's go have dinner. And we went to a hamburger place I'd never been to on 6th Street.
Who all went to that?
I got there first. It was called Texas Gelato or something like that. Mike showed up next. And then she showed up. We could briefly discuss it before she showed up. We talked 1 or 2 minutes.
And in those 1 or 2 minutes, tell me what that conversation was like. What was it about?
He was just recalling what he told me on the phone, how it was discovered. And that's all I can recall what he was saying.
Okay. And when he arrived there?
It's not discussed.
Nothing.
You have to understand, Mike and I, we met all the time, 2 or 3 times a week, for lunches, for dinner, mostly for afternoon snacks and a beer or cigar. It was not unusual for us to see each other 2 or 3 times. The previous year, in 2011, every Sunday and Monday, we went to Buffalo Wild Wings and watched football, Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, and when the Texans went on the pennant race, we watched all their playoff games. He actually attended one of them, and once we saw the World Series at either Buffalo Wild Wings or Hunters.
So, was there any discussion about when the police went over there and spoke to him?
He was nervous. So I had to get out of town. And I said I had no means to get out of town.
And what did he say about that?
Yes, you have to.
Did he furnish you any funds for
No.
that? No? Okay. Was he specific about the police, what they asked him about, or anything they requested, or anything that came about that?
My best recollection of that very brief conversation was that there were 3 or 4 detectives. They'd been there a couple of hours. He mentioned that I would put them onto him. And that they were looking real closely at his arms and his hands. That's pretty much all the conversation actually.
Okay. So, after y'all meet at this gelato place for lunch there.
It's for dinner actually.
Okay, for dinner.
It's in the evening, 6:30 or something like that.
And this is the day after.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if it's not discussed any further with Ashley there, well, tell me what happens after that.
We have a beer. We finish eating. We go down to Golden Light Cafe, and he buys me another beer. We have a beer outside, just visiting, talking, just trying to be like normal. He's texting a couple of people he saw across the street and giving them shit, he's a prankster and calling and this kind of stuff. We leave. I don't know where they go. We walk back down to where our cars are, and they're sitting talking. And I go to my car, and I go to Butler's and have a drink.
So when y'all go to this Golden Light or whatever, they're with y'all?
Yes, sir.
The whole time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after y'all separate, they go their way, and you go to Butler's?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now we're into Wednesday night.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me anything that happens right after that?
I'm at Butler's for 4 or 5 hours. I don't know exactly what time I got there. 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'm there at 11:30. When you call it 11:30 or 12. Not sure of the time. When he's finished with his interview with the detectives. I'm talking to people when he calls me, and I go outside to answer the phone. And I leave at that point. I go pay my tab, and I leave at that point to discard my clothes, the gun, and the knife.
Okay. So after you discard all that, then we're pretty much into Thursday.
Yes, sir. Thursday morning.
And tell me what happens into Thursday.
Thursday morning, I take my daughter. Just the weekend. That previous week, 10 days, my ex-wife had decided that I should leave because they were having difficulties. Didn't submit, I never got notice, nothing. She said, I didn't have a problem with staying with me until school started, but Lord wouldn't get my child support and we have to take care of everything. I'm going to need to go to Oklahoma because that's where our allergy supplier is, our supplies for our business. And I was going to do that Monday or Tuesday anyway, but since Mike needed me to be gone, in case they called me for an interview, I could talk to them on the phone, but they couldn't see my arm or my hand. I head to Oklahoma. I'm on the way to Oklahoma when I talk to the detective.
Okay. And after you speak to the detective on the phone, did you have contact again with Michael Dixon?
Yes, sir. Immediately after I called him, that I talked to him.
Okay. And can you tell me what that conversation was about?
The only recollection that I have of something significant in that conversation is I recollected pretty much what I told the detective, but The one thing that came up that he wasn't aware of, he hadn't told the detectives Wednesday evening that he had saw me Wednesday afternoon for dinner. He goes, I was trying to keep you out of it. I didn't tell him I saw you. He goes, I said, well, I told him, when I saw you.
Okay. And did you get any other instructions or any other information from Michael Dixon?
No.
As far as related to the case?
Nothing. No, I can't recall. I was on my way to Oklahoma, and I was going to do that. He said, keep me posted when you find out, so I will. Because that's our next, this crap was done. It's all on. He did ask me, when do you think we can have our first clinic ready? I said, probably about the 1st of September.
So this is Thursday. Did you go to Oklahoma?
I'm on the road. My car starts feeling funny, so I pull over and look at it, and I got a bad tire. The steel belts are showing through. I'm not going to make it on that tire, and I have no spare. So I turn around and come back to Amarillo. I call Lane Auto on Tascosa Road and go by and see them and order some tires, and they said they could put them on the next day. So I go by the next day and have tires put on Friday and brakes done.
Did you tell Michael Dixon that you had come back to Amarillo?
Yes.
And what was the response to that?
After I told him I talked to him Thursday morning, they probably might never call you again. They just want to know that you saw me Tuesday.
Right.
Trying to allay my fears.
Okay. So you go back to Amarillo, you get some tires. Did you pay for the tires?
Yes, sir.
How did you pay for those?
Cash.
Okay.
From the sale of the silver I sold. When he gave me the silver Tuesday night, Wednesday morning I sold both cars.
And where did you sell those at?
Same place.
Same place. Do you recall how much money exactly you got for
$2,600 a bar, I believe. The price was dropping. That's why I sold them both instead of just one.
Okay.
The price was dropping. I'm like, it cost me like $200 or $300. I just sold them both.
All right. So what happens after you get the tires?
I want to answer all your questions. Thursday night, Friday, Saturday. I drank a lot. I took a lot of things. I tried to kill myself. I tried it once in April and once in May. My wife had an insurance policy for me. And since I was running out of unemployment, at one point, I just thought I would be worth more than my kids were alive and dead. And I'd gotten myself involved in this and didn't know how to extract myself and still do my business. It was in pretty bad shape Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday. I don't know exactly the time frames when you're asking what happened next.
Yeah, and I was talking about that like after you got the tires, it's late Thursday.
I went home Friday.
Did most of the drinking that you did you do it at home or was it somewhere?
After Wednesday night, after Butler's Den, I did it all at home. Other substances were involved.
And were you mixing the other substances in alcohol?
Friday night when I tried to kill myself, I took between 15 and 20 morphine tablets that were 1 a day more for pain than my mother had when she had left when she had passed. I injected 4 vials of insulin. I took over 30 high blood pressure pills. And I drank close to half a bottle of scotch within about 15 minutes.
Okay. Where was your daughter during this time?
She wasn't there. I took her
You
Thursday.
had already taken her to her mom's?
To her mother's, yes.
Was there anybody else there at your place?
Saturday morning, I remember seeing him. Moved in with me. We moved in June. I got a 2-bedroom apartment because he needed help, needed a place to stay. And he said it made a difference. He probably went to finish the school and got a little nursing thing until he went off to school. I saw him Saturday morning.
And did you visit with him?
Just briefly.
Did he know about anything that you had been involved in at that point?
He helped plan it.
At what point did he get involved in that?
When he came down wrong. When he got through the trucking, he came back.
About time earlier. And about what time frame was that?
Seemed like that was April and May. He stayed with me a couple of weeks in May, a couple of 3 weeks, and then we moved in June.
And how did he become involved as far as knowing about what was going on? Through you?
Yes, sir. He never met with Mike and talked to him about it. They had made acquaintances before, but he had never met, didn't know Mike. Mike didn't know I was really telling too much about it. He was a Green Beret and had other training that I didn't have or methods, and he might think of things how I could, get away from this and do whatever. And he's the one that gave the idea of the silencer and how to strangle somebody without mark and stuff.
Okay. And this instruction, did he give it to you at home? Or?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Tell me about when y'all discussed, when you found out about the silencer, how did that come about? And tell me what you were told about it.
I had seen a movie, I believe it was called Mr. White. Kevin Costner was the star in it. He was a professional, an architect or someplace, but he was also a psychopath and an assassin, just a serial killer. And he had used it in that movie. I brought it up and told me he knew people that had used it, and he goes, "That didn't work just once." He goes, "He'll do it 2 or 3 times." And he was talking about a 2-liter bottle. Further from that conversation, on one trip back from Lubbock, being hot in my air conditioner didn't work in my car because I had a head gasket band. It was very hot. I got a game, not a huge one, but a regular one. After I finished it, I saw that the gun fit right inside it and it would hold in. I pulled on the side of the highway, pulled out a phone book, and shot a round into it to see if it would work. It doesn't.
Still loud.
My ears are ringing. You have that concussion ring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hard of hearing, but it had that concussion ring. And I blew the bottle off.
Now, let me ask you this. Now that you said that I blew the bottle off, when you actually used it as a silencer, did you secure the bottle to the weapon, or was it just...
No, sir.
It was just put on there? Tell me what else you and Mr. discussed as far as this. You told me about the silencer and how that came about.
At one point, he even told me, he goes, "Well, I don't think you're going to get this done." And I said, "What do you think?" He goes, "It doesn't sound like you're into it." And I said, "I'm just trying to find a pattern." And he goes, "Well, you could have had this done already if you wanted to do it. Just stay there." His idea of the best time ever to do it would be in a rainstorm, a thunderstorm. Lightning cracks, people aren't outside walking, can't see, moisture muffles the sound. He might answer the door, front door. He said, "They'll just pull up in his driveway, knock on the front door when you know he's there and it's a storm." Then you open the door, pop him, close the door, get in your car and leave.
Did Mr. Reynolds know that you had a weapon at
Yes.
some point?
He had seen it. I showed it to him.
And What was his take on the weapon?
A little piece of shit. I mean, he's had a bigger gun than this, a little piece of crap. He goes, "You're a pretty good job. You got to be close."
Let me ask you this. Did he specifically know who the intended victim was?
Yes.
Did he know the situation behind it?
I'm not sure I know the whole situation behind it. He knew about X and that Mike wanted that done. If that's what you mean.
Right. That's what I was referring to. Why this was going to happen.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So those days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, when you did a lot of drinking and whatnot, you meet up with Paul and talk to him on Saturday, or you see him?
It was Saturday morning. I woke up surprisingly, and I was shaking. Stuff was going on in my stomach. Felt weird, funny. I felt very hungry. I got some chocolate little donuts I bought for my daughters, and I was eating those, and he came out of his bedroom. He came out. That's what was wrong. That, just tired of all this. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want anybody to hurt me. I want, my kids deserve better than this. I'm not sure he knew about the other attempts in April and May.
At that point, when you said that to him, had you at some point told him what had already transpired at Sonia's house?
I don't recall ever telling him what happened at Sonia's house.
Okay.
When I first saw that affidavit, I don't recall ever telling Paul that it had been done. I don't recall telling anybody that it had ever been done.
So you visit with him and tell him that, and what was his response?
The only thing I have a recollection of that conversation Saturday morning with Paul was that if a person wants to off himself, you got to go ahead and do it. He didn't try to stop me. No sympathy, no compassion. Didn't try to tell me how he was. I thought that was odd.
Y'all been friends for some time?
Since 1977. Went to high school together. He was my best man at my wedding.
How old is he?
49. When we graduated the same year. He's a year younger. He's 50 now, I guess.
So
about to be.
Okay. After y'all have this discussion, tell me what happens next.
He leaves. At some point, I talked to Dr. Dixon Saturday. I don't know exactly what time. The times are very fuzzy in my head, how the day progressed. He comes by to see me. He's going to Dallas, I believe, to get his Porsche. He had left it there when he went to the Caribbean to have some work done on it. And he was flying back and going to drive it back. And he came by and I told him I was just going to finish this off. He said he'd take care of my kids, pray for them every day. I said it's not working. I took an Antigen, 8 sleeping pills, 30 high blood pressure pills, 15 morphine, and 4 vials of insulin. I said, and I'm kicking. I took 8 donut and I just threw up. There were no pills, there was no gloves. There was nothing that came out. Before he goes to Dallas, Friday, Saturday, I think it is Saturday, he brings me some over-the-counter sleeping meds. 94 of them, 96 of them. I drink some more, I think it was snaps. A lot more. Probably 375 milliliters of scotch. Probably another 6 or 7 ounces of Crown. And a take all of the sleeping pills.
All of them?
All of them. It takes me about three handfuls to me 3 or 4 times to swallow them all.
And these are the pills that Michael Dixon brought you?
Yes.
What do you think was the purpose of him bringing you those pills? Was it
I couldn't drive. I was shaking so bad. There's no physical way I could walk to my car and drive. I wanted to do this, and I'm sure, I was nervous about this. I didn't want to do this. If I get I'm going, there's no trial.
And he comes to your house and delivers these? Was Mr. Wright there?
I think was working. I never saw Paul except just a couple of minutes on Sunday, and he was on his way out doing something. Mike had taken the capsules of the tablets out of the box and just put the blister packs in the bag and handed them to me.
Okay. And does he give you any specific instructions or
No, sir.
nothing? So, and that's the day he leaves to go to
I
Dallas
believe that's today.
to go pick up his car. So now we're into Saturday. Anything happened late Saturday night, Sunday?
I slept till Sunday morning. Or till 3 or 4 in the morning. And I pull out a fillet knife and try to cut myself. It's bleeding like a stuck pig.
Can you show me where you cut yourself? Right there?
You can see where the tendon's cut.
Yeah.
I'm in bed, had the cigar, smoked it a little bit. Finally get down where I cut myself. It's coming out, and I hand it over and put it in the trash can. I wake up at 7 or 8 in the morning, Sunday morning. Bullets on the sheets, bullets on the pants, bullets on the bill. I didn't see any on the floor, but there was quite a bit in the trash can.
Had you fallen asleep or passed out after you cut yourself?
Yes, I just lay down and tried to go back to sleep, but hopefully I just lay down.
And when you wake up, what happens then?
If you can imagine the disgust you can feel with yourself after being involved with what I did. Having tried to kill yourself 2 or 3 different tastes and scents. Enough to kill a horse. If they come to get me, they come to get me. I have to do my penance. I'm not supposed to die. I stopped trying. Mike comes by, looks at it, told him, meets me at his office, he sews it up Sunday afternoon.
He came by your place first to take a look at
I'm
it?
trying to think if he came by there. I think he just came by that Saturday. It's the only time he had been there. I think he called me. He said, we're going to have to clean that up. And I'm meeting in his office Sunday afternoon.
And this is at his office?
Yes.
This Sunday, late Sunday evening?
It's
Or?
Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
It's light out.
Okay. And
I believe I actually go to his house later that evening, go stay down and have a beer, just visit with him a little bit.
so he sews your hand up, cleans it up, fixes it up. And does he discuss anything with you in reference to Sonia?
Told me I need to keep my cool. If I can get out of town, I need to. He said if they had any evidence on us, they'd already have this. Very prophetic, I thought. The bracelets on us. Actually said that at his place, we're sitting outside. He goes, if they had anything, we'd already be in the bracelets. Just got to keep cool. I'd already wrote a letter to my wife, ex-wife, sent her all the other money I had left. Sunday I could drive a little bit. Told him I tried to cut myself, I couldn't before I go to his place. And he goes, you're going to have to do it because she's going to know. I thought I mailed it Thursday. I thought she'd have it Friday or Saturday. It might have been there, she didn't do it. I go by and retrieve the letter and the money
From your ex-wife?
from my ex-wife's mailbox. One of my daughters had texted me and said they were going to a movie. And then nobody was there.
What did you write in the letter?
That I was sorry that she thought I was a deadbeat and I couldn't pay.
Was there anything in the letter in reference to?
No.
So you get fixed up by Dr. Saunier, by Michael Dixon, and you end up at his place
Later that evening.
later that evening. Is anybody else there?
No.
And what do y'all do there?
Just visit a little bit. He knows I'm nervous. He's trying to relax me, trying to take care. My perception was he's nervous about me.
Does he, how does he try to calm you down? Does he give you instructions on anything? What do y'all discuss? Any course of action?
He said, just chill. He goes, you got to keep yourself together. You try to send a letter, try to kill yourself. He understood that, because he knows how much I love my kids. He was just chill. It'll work out. Go about like nothing happened. If they call you, don't be available. They call, talk to them on the phone. And if they think they're going to come back, then find a way to get out of town for a while. That's the recollection I have.
Okay. So y'all hang out this Sunday evening?
Just briefly.
Okay. And then do you go back home?
I have to go back home. It's not dark yet because my ex-wife is bringing a whole folder of all of her receipts.
What's the next thing that happens that has anything to do with this specifically?
She comes and wakes me up. We go to bed. We're watching TV. Go to bed. She's sleeping on my couch. That's the other room. I go to sleep. She comes and wakes me up. Seems like it's 9:45, 10 o'clock. So someone's knocking at the door. And she gets in bed with me and we just hug for a little. I said, just don't worry about it. I said, it's too late for anybody to come by and I'm not expecting anybody. She goes back to bed. Late 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. SWAT team comes in and arrests me. I assume it's SWAT. Wake me up. I'm half out of it. I got so much stuff in my system, I don't even know what's going on.
Had you drank or taken any medications before you went to bed?
Not that night.
When they came in to arrest you, what did you think?
I didn't even think at all. I thought it was a dream at first. So it's like a nightmare.
Since your arrest, when you were arrested, did you have any chance to have conversation with Michael Dixon? Have you spoken to him?
No, sir. None, zero.
Now, let me ask you this. Who have you had contact with since your arrest? Have you spoken to your family, your
My
daughters, your...
I've written letters to my children. Told them I can't discuss the case. I haven't. Talked to my dad. Came and visited twice, and also once when I was in Randall County, once here, and then he visited us a third time. He was second time here, but a third time visit on the day of the grand jury. I talk to him on the phone normally twice a week. We don't discuss the case.
Have you had any kind of information coming from Michael Dixon through any family members or anything, anybody? Have you gotten any messages?
Thank you for answering that question. I didn't want to volunteer. I find out later from a letter to my daughter. He has a son named But the day I was arrested, they had gone to the movies, and he had a Jeep, and she had ridden that. She doesn't want a Jeep anymore. She had relayed to me that he called her and said he could no longer talk to her, and said that he cried more about that than when his dad was arrested. That's the extent of the conversation that I knew about outside the family. My original attorney came by a couple of times. One visit, a private investigator assigned from Michael's attorney came, and we had a visit. He asked a few questions.
What were the questions?
I have a real time remembering the specifics, and some of his generals about Paul, where he's working. My general perception was he was going to try to discredit Paul in the affidavit. That's where my dad worked, where he lived, and I gave that information.
Let me go through this list here, and the things that we haven't touched on, I'll go back over them. If you don't mind, and we can use this board, the lake
Yes, sir.
that we discussed there in Amarillo,
Yes, sir.
can you draw me a diagram?
Yes, sir.
So we can kind of pinpoint exactly where?
Yes, sir. Got to erase this?
Yes, sir.
I might can do it. This is a pretty big board.
You can take a bathroom break or anything, David.
Oh, it's just my butt sore.
Yeah. Feel free to stand up.
Excuse me. Right. I'm going to put north, south here like normal. Okay. Western Street. I-40. Shopping center. The road here, I believe it's called Donovan Lake or Donovan Drive or something, whatever it's called. This corner is a gentleman's club. Jaguars, I believe it's called. There's an empty lot here. Big hotel right here. I pull this way, come here. The lake butts up right next to the street, all the way down and around. This street comes back around to the west, and it comes back around. I pull down this way. There's the little damage in the curb hotel, because I see it here. There's trees. I get out, walk across, and I throw it in this general direction. I see water down here. The whole thing, it goes all the way across. It's big. If you come this way from the access road on I-40, you come right down here, you'll see it in the curb. It inches, where runoff runs. There was one of those in front of my car, and I was in front of that main hotel. And I believe there's another hotel back here. I was in front of that hotel, and I believe there's actually a street that comes into here where you go to PetSmart and the thing there. Sorry, it's not very good, but
That's okay. Now, those
it was
are
around
the
45. I was trying to hit in the water. I never heard a splash.
What would you estimate this distance from where you stopped from here is?
150 yards, maybe less. Not very far. This may not be the scale. It may be a little further down here, but that's why I remember because I had one reason I remember the drainage. I had a passing thought to throw it right in there. That's why I remember it's in front of the car.
And
And there may be more up here, but I'm just saying.
There was one.
When you get here and you see this, and this drops precipitously down. I mean, it's steep. You'll have a hard time standing on it walking down. When you see how the runoff water from the highway and all this stuff, concrete, it's all dirt here, there's concrete, and the lake is really deep, and it was shallow. There wasn't a lot of water because they keep it pumped out. You'll be able to look from this corner that quadrant, and you'll be able to, they'll be in that quadrant where it's at. How I really can't pinpoint it because I'm underhanded either way. It's like a frisbee. It'll be in that quadrant right there. I didn't hear a splash. So if you start from even from the hotel, 200 yards and go there, that's where it's at.
And
if I was there, I could actually pull up and say, I believe this is where I was at.
And point it out, okay.
Sorry,
and the magazine was...
I believe it was. I believe it was still in there. I don't believe I separated. I don't think I threw it separate. I may have, but I don't recall doing that.
All right.
I'll leave it up and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, that'll work.
Oh, sorry guys, I'm not an artist. How'd you get the comfortable chair, dude?
I don't know. It was wobbly.
Oh.
Let me ask you this, then. Going back to the silver.
Yes, sir.
Do you know where Michael Dixon kept that silver in the house?
I do not.
Okay. I remember you said he brought it out.
He brought it out
to the driveway where y'all were at.
Yes, sir.
One of the questions I have here, on the Luxie account, it's an app on the phone.
Oh, yeah, my camera. Yeah.
Yeah. When did you get that and what did you use it for?
Saw it in a magazine and thought it was just cool as crap. It looks like a Bluetooth. Mm-hmm. It's actually a video camera. I got that when Paul was we were still thinking about trying to be in the business with Paul, but after discussions, I didn't want to be a partner with him because he just too niggardly and he wanted me to run it out of my apartment for 6 months and he wanted to control the money and I was doing all the work. That wasn't going to work. Dixon was still, he didn't want to give me a percentage. Got the look-see. It cost a couple $100. So I could surreptitiously go to a training class and see how they do the allergy testing. We were going to go to the suppliers and how they do the training. Sure. I was going to act like it was just a Bluetooth for dog. It doesn't really work that well. It's pretty cool when you get it to work. I guess the way my ears are, it would always fall and flip and everything like that. But it does actually work. And there was a couple of things stored on the phone with the look-see, and the look-see was on my desk. I don't know where it is now.
Okay. Now, is there a certain username or a passcode?
I don't recall one. I think you have to have it you have to have it on, you have to have it charged, the look-see device. Mm-hmm. You have to have it charged, and then you have to turn it on, and then it'll get with the Bluetooth, the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, and it'll come on. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't get the phone to show what I did without the thing being on. But there was an instruction book. It needs some more tech developments.
Okay.
I can volunteer what you'll find if you ever get it on. Save you some time.
Sure.
The only thing I ever did was see how well it will work. Went to Cassie's Gentleman's Club and tried to pick out a couple of girls. Didn't really pick out too well, but you could see the club. You can see a shadow, the girl, but that was it. So that's all you see is maybe some shadows of some tits.
Okay.
I think that's all I ever had on it.
All right.
But that's what I did. It was actually going to be a training device, so we could actually show people do allergy testing and do one and the different things they have in a training. So we'd have something we could develop later.
Now, let me ask you this. Did Michael Dixon ever mention to you about wiping down the phones, clearing the phones out?
Yes, sir. Several occasions. Once while we were in Lubbock, be sure to delete your text. Be sure to have any pictures on there about the stuff. You can show me. I took pictures of his house. That's why I couldn't go in the backyard. Landscape truck there, or maid service, blocked from the alley. I'd take pictures and show him, then I'd delete them. Anytime I wrote anything down, be sure to get rid of it.
Did he ever mention to you that at some point after Dr. Sonia was killed, that he wiped down his phone, or did he ever wipe yours down?
He never physically wiped mine down. He relayed to me that he tried to destroy his by dipping it in water, and it still worked.
Okay.
He was my perception is that he was trying to clear his phone off so there wouldn't be anything on it. Sunday afternoon, when he did this, he showed me a code on his phone, and I said, that means they're trailing you. That code on there is a finder. I said, because I can do that on my phone because I have my daughter's phones, but the thing is, it'll send them a text to let them know that they don't know what that is. I would assume, and he assumed, that was a locator where he was at, or a bug. He showed me that.
And what was did he have a course of action for that, or?
Less texting, less talking on the phone, more in-person visits. That's why he said meeting at the office to sew that up and go find his house.
And when he showed you that, what was he going to do? Was he going to just keep using the phone like that, or?
He didn't say one way or the other. He was using that, go about business as usual.
Do you know?
Yes. Can I just have a conversation with just for
Sure.
a second?
They're going to have to take us somewhere else.
We'll take you over to another office.
It'll take 5 seconds. We'll step out the door. Right, whisper in your ear.
If you want to step out, we'll arrange that.
Thank you, sir.
On the deal about the phones, we know he had a black phone and a white phone.
I didn't know about black phone.
Okay.
The white phone I knew about was the Apple phone, iPhone. That's the one I knew.
What color was that? The one that
The white one. The only one I know is the Apple. Was the white one.
Okay. Do you know?
That's the only number I had. I only had that one number.
Okay. Do you know if he ever mentioned, or do you have any knowledge of him maintaining anything that has to do with this on a thumb drive that he always carried on?
I didn't know anything about that.
Okay.
No knowledge whatsoever.
Now, the $50,000 investment,
Yes, sir.
at what point did he make that investment?
Mike didn't make that investment. He was our third partner.
Okay.
And he didn't make
Who's
it.
the third partner?
He didn't make it all at once. It's nickel and dime. Open the office, buy a couple of desks, buy the computer, gradually, and then as we needed stuff.
Now, let me ask you this. Other than the compensation as far as, paying for your trips down here, the gas when you were doing the recon and all that, the silver bars. Was there any other compensation or promise of compensation, job, house, cars, anything related to this that you were promised for getting this done?
The only one promise that was there, if anything ever happened to me, he promised he would take care of my kids. There's nothing beyond that.
Nothing that had to do with a business or anything?
The business was done before this. We were doing that before I even knew he even knew. That was already in the works. We might have been incorporated before they ever started dating.
Was Dr. Sonia the only person that was ever targeted for a violent act?
He's the only one I ever knew about anything, as far as trying to get even or anything. That's my only knowledge.
Do you have any knowledge, information about a letter that was mailed to?
I have received that information since I've been in jail. Probably within the last week or 10 days. And the only thing I know about it was that he sent a letter, and I don't even know the contents. I didn't know anything. He had mentioned to me he hadn't had any contact with her in 6 months, since October, when they broke up. No phone calls. She had texted once by accident, and it was nothing, no ugly or anything.
And how did you become aware of the letter?
One of the other inmates mentioned something. They go, "Oh yeah, I saw he's crazy," talking about sending a letter and saying he did all this for her, got in a violent phone conversation with him. And that's also, I didn't know any of that. It said it was in the paper. I didn't know anything about any of that.
Oh,
I've never seen any reports in the Lubbock paper, and the only one newspaper I've seen was Amarillo, and that was after the grand jury indicted me. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
May I, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Who said that? Did you say an inmate?
Inmates.
Yeah, they probably read it.
So I don't know if it's true. I don't know what it says. I'm just saying,
Right.
I heard about, somebody said something about a letter that he had even sent her, and I said, what?
All right.
Matter of fact, hold on a moment. It was before yesterday. And I know that because when you brought the deal to me, there was no question. Right.
I won't. Okay.
Have you received any kind of information or request or anything from Michael Dixon through inmates?
No, I have not.
All right. I'll tell you what.
I'm pretty secluded.
Are you? Okay. All right. I'm going to step out for a few minutes, and then I'll be right back. Yeah. Unless you need a bathroom break, and here's another deal. We're fixing to get into noon. I have to meet with my command, and one of the things that we're going to do, I know we're going to go look for this weapon. I need to find out from them if this is going to be good enough, or if it's going to take you going out and going, this is where I was at, and it should be right in that area. Would you be okay with that if it came to that?
I will help you. This attorney, any way you need me to help you.
Okay. I appreciate that. And by all means, I'm not trying to put anything on you to make you uncomfortable. We're having this discussion, but I know that it is very important for us to find this weapon. Number one, I wouldn't want some kid to accidentally go out there and put hands on this thing. And this is a very good little map that you drew us, but without seeing the actual area, you know, and for us, so we don't go out there and spend a whole day or 2 days looking for it. Sometimes somebody going out there and going, I was standing right here and I threw it toward that building or that tree or whatever, you know, would give us a better general idea as to where we can actually go out there and get hands on.
May I make a suggestion? Obviously, I would love a road trip if I wasn't in shackles, just to listen to a radio a minute.
Sure.
But if you pull up a MapQuest, I can show you where it is on the MapQuest.
Okay.
And you'll be able to look at the picture, and I do that. So if you want to do that and not have to take me, I'd be glad to do that.
We'll,
But believe me, I would love to get a burger on the road and a trip. Sorry, Ricky. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. I lost 40 pounds.
Here's the deal. We're already into 12 o'clock. You've already missed lunchtime
Thank you.
over there. So I'll make arrangements to get you something to eat here. You know, it takes too much to take you back or whatever to make those arrangements. We'll bring some food here. Okay? We're probably going to go to another area. You can eat your food. I can sit there, and then when we finish, and we're pretty much really almost done here. We'll make sure after you eat, because I need to make sure that you eat because you've missed your meal. We'll come back in here. We'll finalize this, and we'll done. You can point out on the map, and if that works with our supervisors, then we'll do it like that.
Thank you.
Okay? Give me just a few minutes. Let me ask you, what do you want to eat? Don't get all crazy. You know,
Ribeye,
burger.
You know, any Burger King, any McDonald's is just great. Quarter pounder with cheese or chicken sandwich is fine.
Okay.
Fries and a Coke.
Fries and a Coke.
Yes.
Okay.
And a couple bucks in my commissary
Sure.
account.
no, we'll wait till you finish.
Okay. Give me just a
Is there a
minute.
restroom on this floor or this hallway somewhere though?
Yes, I believe there's one down this way. And the only thing is with that door, there, we have to have a,
Okay, so I think you got the, yeah, this way, yeah, okay.
yeah.
All right.
You said I'd feel better. I still feel like a shit. Maybe it'll come. Yeah, I know. No, I went to business school now.
No artist.
Yeah, I'm no artist either.
Dave, how long were you in the Army?
4 months.
Did you go to basic training?
Yes.
Where were you at basic?
The Fort Jackson.
Oh, okay. I went to Fort Littlewood, but I went in the dead of winter. It was miserable. It was miserable.
Georgia in the summer. Don't talk about miserable. Humidity. I didn't know what a humidity ball was. You know what that is?
No.
Sponge ball. You put water on it and hang it up. And I don't know how it works or how they do it, but if it gets too heavy or reduced too much, we have to stop working because of heat stroke and heat exhaustion. And it got to the point where everybody was looking for the damn humidity ball because it was just so incredibly hot. I mean, like jungle hot, miserable.
Mm-mm. Yeah, heat gets pretty miserable.
I loved it though, really did. Did you get hit or is that a cold sore?
That's a cold sore.
You ever taking Fanvir or Valtrex?
No, just a Breva stuff you buy at the store.
Some free medical advice?
Sure.
See your doctor?
Mm-hmm.
Vanavir, Valtrex. It's for herpes simplex, general stuff. You take 1 gram of that. So when you feel it coming on, you take that, and then one a day for 3 or 4 days, it'll go away.
Really?
Even better than that, there's a cream and an ointment. It's called Zovorax,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like $50 a tube or something like that with a copay. Put it on there. Immediately takes the tingle out. It starts healing immediately because it puts the virus back to sleep.
Really?
It's priceless. If you get those, I have them all the time. When you get that stress and all that opens it up, you get cold because the virus stays with you all the time.
Uh-huh.
Put that on there. It takes the tingle out, and within a couple of days, you see it's healing.
Really?
The reason I say this is because people have that.
Yeah.
You don't let somebody have it because what you have, you have it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go left, right.
So what kind of drug did you were you doing for your drug rep business? What were you
Sold Alzheimer's,
so,
acid reflux, cardiovascular. Trying to think, Crohn's disease. For Crohn's, sold all those. So it goes all the way from the heart, cardiovascular, and neural systems in the brain, to the parietal cells in the stomach. I just pick up on this other stuff from being in there.
mm-hmm.
And if you have that, Zovorax, starts Zovirax. Sometimes they sample it, but you can go and get 1 tube of that, and it doesn't take. You just put just a little. It'll last you a long time, and it'll keep. It's priceless. I mean, priceless.
David is housed in medical. When he said he was isolated,
Mm-hmm.
so he's housed over in medical.
Oh,
I'm sorry, what did you?
No, you're housed in medical.
Yes. My joke is you have to get a verbal reprimand and then a major violation, and you still have more freedoms than I have. I mean, I've been there 60 days, 70 days, whatever, and it's like solitary, 24/7.
Is there anybody down there at all? Is it you're down there?
I'm sorry?
You're just down there in the medical?
I have sleep
section?
apnea, and that's where they have electrical plug-in, so I can use my CPAP at night so I can sleep.
Oh, okay.
If you know anything about sleep deprivation, you can become psychotic pretty quick,
Yeah.
and I get that way. You saw me that way. The walls never closed in on me until this last Thursday, because that deaf mute guy was there. They moved him out last night. I got to
Did they?
sleep. Oh my gosh.
Good.
I didn't sleep any the night before. Not one bit. They turned the lights on in the morning at 4 o'clock, 4:30 when we had breakfast. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. It's already morning. I didn't go sleep one bit. I had to go do medical or something. I slept for about 4 hours when he was gone. He just barks and grunts. And,
Makes all sorts of.
well, it bothers me. It's like watching a kid get beat or an animal get abused, and the guttural utterances and stuff. I mean, even though you know it, you can't help it. It doesn't sit well with me. I'm not that guy. I mean, that stuff like that bothers me. This stuff bothers me. And when he's gone, I'm like, oh. You can't do anything about it.
Now let's go sad things.
That's the hard part, because you can't get mad at the guards because then you get, for being disrespectful, and they can't do anything.
Neighbor's still there.
I'm sorry, sir.
The barking neighbor.
Your barking neighbor. He's still there.
The deputy.
The deputy.
Oh yeah, he's gone. They moved him yesterday. Yeah, I got to sleep. I got to sleep last night. It was awesome. Poor guy. That wasn't his only problem.
He's probably a lot emotional
Oh,
or mental.
oh.
I didn't know you could lock a phone like that.
Sorry, sir.
I learned something today.
What's that?
I did not know you could lock a phone.
They have this little fill on there, and you put everybody do the things, and
Dennis is not the most technologically savvy person.
if it's charged, they bring it in there. I'll show them how to use it. Yeah. Trouble I have with those, using those, store all your phone numbers on them. You can't look them up. You don't remember them.
Yeah.
I don't have any idea what my phone numbers are.
You can just get used to hitting the button,
Yeah.
hitting the face. Yeah. I had to remember my wife's work number is just like another school systems with 766.
Gonna go to the interstate Thursday night. They're closing the loop
They're doing something.
from the university.
Construction today.
No, it's an accident. That ain't
Already to reconstructed that. Okay.
like 4 a.m. to 7:30 or something.
Wow. Still wasn't clear what happened. I thought somebody hit her, but then last night it made it sound like she lost control.
The radio this morning said she crossed the median. But they keep saying she was going westbound and crossed the median into the westbound lane. My son plays competitive chess.
Oh,
And this is what we're talking about as a teacher got killed out on the
oh
loop.
no.
And that school that she taught at, you told me about it. They have an awesome chess.
Good.
Smoke everybody.
They're trash load. Smart kids. That's what the kids will be about.
All right. I have a copy here of some of the maps.
Easy. That's what's your Plaza Drive. Now, I'm going to use your pen, but I'm not going to write on it. I'm just going to point.
That's fine.
There's a hotel. Pull up here. There should be right. There's a street too. I thought there was a street. Pull right up in here. And that's where you can get real close to where I was because you'll see the drainage where it drops off. Walk, there's the trees. Walk across there. And I thought right over there.
Okay.
I never heard a splash. It looks like there's more water in there than when I threw it though.
And this is the same photograph, just a little bit larger.
I would imagine, guessing from this photograph, not being on the street, that I parked right there, walked right across the street, and threw it right in this area right there. Probably from that right there.
I tell you what, go ahead and draw
Yeah,
where you think
I
more
would
is.
think I'm right here. Walked across the street. This is the only street right here, and that's it's dropping down pretty significantly right there. I threw it that way.
All right. If you'll initial and date that
Oh,
for us.
absolutely. Is that all you want me to put on there? That's what.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like I said, that area. What's today, the 2nd?
Yes, sir.
And I'll sign it if you want me to.
Yeah, and you can just circle that area. That'll work.
I would think that's what I'm thinking of this. Sorry. I just screwed myself out of the trip, didn't I?
Yep.
That's what he's thinking. So he said, don't volunteer. I got you.
I have just a few more questions. So we'll go ahead and try and go over these. And your food should be here by about the time we maybe finish up here. And that way you can eat. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. One of the questions, there was a pad in your apartment that had Dr. Saulnier's vehicle information.
There was. What did it look like? I mean, what kind of
I
discovery?
think it was like a spiral type.
Little pink one?
Could be.
Yes, sir.
Who wrote that
I
information?
would imagine I did.
Okay. Just at some point, or is there any specific?
I don't know. I think it's just a remark, so I know what it was. Was it had his vehicle information? Like it was, maybe Mike told me on the phone and I wrote it down.
Okay. So in all probability, you're saying it's probably your writing?
I would say 99% sure.
Okay. Did you have a computer backup for your a backup for your phone?
No, sir.
Okay. The night vision in your Durango,
Yes, sir.
where did that come from?
I've had it for about 7 or 8 years,
Okay.
maybe longer.
Does it function?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever use it?
No, sir.
No.
It needs batteries. I didn't ever buy any battery. It needs some batteries. It'll work.
Did you and Michael Dixon ever email each other?
You know, I had an office computer. I don't recall ever emailing Mike. I don't know if I ever had that.
Okay.
Maybe Facebook, but no emails.
So you have a Facebook?
Yes, sir. Did. I don't know.
All right. Did you have email accounts?
Yes, sir.
How many?
2, I believe.
And I know we kind of went over this, but I want to make sure. Do you have any knowledge of where Michael Dixon obtained the silver bars, where they came from, where they originated from?
He told me he got them. He's had them for a long time, and he didn't want to give them to me too much because he was kind of keeping them from his ex-wife. She didn't know he had them. And I think he had some gold and some other stuff and jewelry and stuff that he would buy and stuff, and he would not let her know. It's kind of like his little silly investment. I know he had a lot of Apple stock, but I don't know where he got it, how long he had them. They were not all the same.
Did they have some kind of emblem on them, or
Yes, sir.
but they weren't all the same?
No, sir. Two of them were. He gave me one. He gave me the other 2. My recollection of the other 2, one of them was similar to like the first one, and one of them was a little thicker, but narrower. They had all had serial numbers on them.
There was some blood found inside the Durango.
You tell me where, tell you what it is.
Let me ask you this: when after you left Sonia's house the night that this happened, or the day that this happened, did you? Yeah, I remember you said you had some blood on your arm.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a significant amount of blood?
Some got on the door. I tried to wipe it off. There was some on the door. A little bit. Yeah, it was a pretty good cut. These are scars from it. This is all part of it right here.
Okay. Okay.
And it wasn't all from Sonia because that same night, Dr. Sonia's house, when I went to the club, I fell into the brick wall looking at a girl's house. And it made it worse.
Made it worse. Okay.
But, yeah. But there was blood on the arm. But I thought I wiped it off, but there wasn't.
Okay.
I don't know if there's...
To your knowledge, has there been anybody that has bled or other blood in that vehicle?
Well, I'm trying to think. Shouldn't be. The only thing else I had a pretty good blood right here. Might have been on the handle, might have been on the wheel, might have been me putting some in the back. That'd be it.
And where did that come from on your hand?
had the other pair of gloves, had one on, one was off because I was using the phone.
Right.
Knock on the window. I go to it, had my glove holding on here in the way. And when I push in the window after he's running around, I push it in, and I guess I scraped it right there because I had my hands like this. So I couldn't do anything. I just had the phone here with my hand like this, had the phone in my hand, and it must have hit my wall. But I really, it happened so quick, I really
But
didn't.
that bled also?
Oh yeah. This was the worst cut.
Oh, okay. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about, or if I needed to visit with him?
His number's on the phone.
It's in the phone?
He works, he's an assistant pilot or co-pilot with Hastings. Used to be a trainer, airplane instructor out at Tradewinds.
Tradewinds. That's in Amarillo?
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I was arrested, he was a co-pilot at Hastings. Books and Records, they have a private plane.
You mentioned you approaching two females.
Yes.
One of them about making the phone calls.
Yes, sir.
One of them, we discussed her name. Who's the other one?
Her phone number is also in my book. I believe she is also on my Facebook page.
Okay.
And last I knew, she was working at, I'm trying to think of the name of the place. Used to be Firewater Grill out on 114th. It's something else now. Las Brisas. Bartender.
We discussed that cigar box.
Yes, sir.
From your friend, I think he was here from Lubbock.
You're talking about the knife.
Right.
Yes, sir.
The friend that you got that cigar box from,
Yes, sir.
who is he?
I believe his name is. His number's also on my phone.
Is he here from Lubbock?
He is. He's in school here.
Tech?
Yes, he's from Dallas.
About how old?
22, 23.
How do you know him?
Thank you. Met him at Heroes and Legacies, 19th and stuff. One thing you have to understand when I can do all this kind of stuff for Mike, all around that kind of stuff, for the most part, very much on the periphery. I spent a lot of time at the smoke shop when I was down here.
Yeah, Heroes.
Both of them. When I was supposed to be following him around.
You know, you mentioned Buffalo Wild Wings, the one you always went to, the one there in Amarillo.
Predominantly we went there.
Okay. Usually when, people go to the same place, they know the people there, Was there any particular waitress or anybody that always waited on y'all? It was just...
There's several. There was one girl named, she had a really funny hairdo, fogged up here. Mike hated her. She wore a Giants jersey once to a Cowboy game as sheriff of the Giants. So, he'd say her. But he hated her. She was funny looking. But there was so many different waitresses all the time. We also went to Hooters on occasion. She was in a car accident. He was actually on call and he worked on her hand. I believe her name was.
The license plates.
Yes, sir.
You said you got those from a friend?
A business partner. His number's on my phone.
the last one that I have, the inmate that mentioned, hey, about the letter, here's the kind
Yes.
of, would you happen to know who that
I
was?
couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I see some, I don't even have any fancy
Yeah.
there. I'm trying to think who it was. Matter of fact, I might have. Let me think. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
That's okay. On your Facebook account, can you tell me the password?
Should be the same.
Well, at this point right now, this is pretty much all I have unless something else comes up here in the next few minutes, so let me know. But we'll just wait and bring the food in and have at it.
Okay.
Will you let me know as soon as you know whether he's got to go with you up there?
Sure. I'll let you know here. As a matter of fact, let me go do that first. Okay, so we'll go.
Where are you?
He's at the office.
Is that what's in your office?
I don't know. He wasn't there when we left, so I don't know.
Caught myself, but you didn't even sing. I know, I'm trying.
He's going to ask you everything he wants to know. You just got to wait on him to ask the question.
Zach, if you have any follow-up stuff, just give us a heads up.
Okay.
Right now, both have to be in Ector County on Friday.
Okay.
And then Matt had this thought that the courthouse may be closed for Columbus Day. I don't know, are y'all closed Columbus Day?
No. Well, I don't know. Sometimes, like,
Monday. Supposed to leave
municipal court may be closed, but the PD won't be. We'll be here. Yeah, we'll be here.
So I can't remember. Or Matt may have something. We may have to move blood brother tonight as well.
I mean, I'll have that.
How is the courthouse down in Ector County? Is it?
Nondescript.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the people that had to run it real nice and the person real nice.
Yeah, I grew up there in Odessa. I never went to the Ector County courthouse.
It's one of those 60s, you know, hasn't been changed much since they built it. The elevator kind of rattles when you go up and down. Like the courtroom that we're going to try this case in, I mean, you have to like bring your own extension cords if you're going to use your computers.
Really? Wow.
Well, they went through like, there's a hole for a plug, but they never did anything with it. There's that kind of stuff. We could get to an exciting place. Vegas, Montana, till we get.
That was too late.
It was.
It's one really good place to eat.
What's the good place to eat?
Camino Real. It's on, take the first Tulia exit, and as you wind your way into town, it's on your right before you take the right to go to the courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
The locals say there's one other place, but I haven't been. It's, let's just say, a real informal jail.
Interesting.
Yeah, they would get used to going to all the hoops to see your clients here at Lubbock. And you got some of these other counties. And they, oh yeah, come on back.
They yell for somebody. Be like, oh, use his office.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Go see you is kind of an act of Congress.
I'm sorry?
Just to go see you is kind of an act of Congress.
See me?
Yeah, compared to some other places we go.
Like maybe a little bit full. I think Amarillo's got some rains this last month, hasn't it?
Boy, if they've caught as much rain as we have, it's pretty full.
Our one of our investigators who lives in Odessa shot us a picture the other day. It was raining, and it was flooded over the hood. Cars flooded.
Down there in Odessa?
Yeah.
We used to, when it rained down there in Odessa, we used to get in those rubber boats, and we would boat down Tom Green.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, because Tom Green is notorious for flooding.
It's flat, nowhere to go.
Yeah, I mean, it just blows up like a swimming pool. Yeah.
So St. Louis Love got a little bit better. For a while there, I live inside the loop. And at Trinity Church, that part of the world, it's crazy flooding.
Oh, yeah.
They finally
got all that evened out.
thought, this is flat. On our block, it's flat. There's just nowhere for the water to go. 2 inch rain looks like it did the monsoon for a year. Then 30 minutes later,
It's gone.
it's gone.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious when they're going to get all that construction done out there on 98th. And they've had that torn up for almost a year.
Yeah, that's the
Golly.
Is that the one that had to redo?
Mm-hmm. Almost an entire neighborhood, too.
Well, you think the new mayor's going to get enough money to hire some more officers?
I don't know. That's always a hit and miss deal.
Like 100 something short. Oh, that's the way I said it.
Somewhere around there. But I think they when he came in, I think he cut budgets by like 1% or something. But they always divvy that up between personnel and all that.
Two more quick questions.
True. All the truth, nothing but the truth.
Do you know anything about pocket aces? Does that mean
Pocket
anything?
aces. I've played a lot of poker. Pocket aces is the name for we have like American Airlines, playing Hold'em. You get 2 aces, pocket aces, get them down. Mike and I played in a couple of tournaments. I don't have any idea what that's referring to.
Okay. Your letter to your wife that you went and retrieved from the mailbox.
Yes,
Can you tell me what happened to that letter?
threw it away. Same with the trash can, the blood, and all the meds I took. I took them to a trash can.
Okay. All right, that's it. If you want, we'll step out here in the hallway, all of us. Our techs are going to come in here and shut off the recording equipment, the mic and everything, and we'll come back in here and you can eat your food.
Thank you.
Okay? And we're done.
You need him out or him stay in here?
No, we can all go out there in the hallway.